Welcome back to the beginner guitar lesson course at worshiptutorials.com. My name is Brian. In this lesson, we are going to learn the 4 most commonly used chords in the key of D. So if you've just joined us on YouTube and you are looking to learn how to play guitar, say you've never picked up a guitar before and you want to learn how to play full songs, I'd really encourage you to click the link below. Go to worshiptutorials.com, sign up for this free guitar lesson course, and you can follow and track your progress from beginning to end. We have a whole series of lessons designed to take you from never having played a guitar to playing songs and knowing all the chords you need to know to play songs. So today, we're in kind of our chord building section of the course. And last lesson, we learned how to play the 4 chords that you most commonly see in the key of G. And today we're going to learn key of D. Now it's going to be a bit shorter lesson than the last one because you already know 2 of the 4 chords that I'm going to teach you today. So the chords we're going to learn are D, we're going to learn G, and you already know those 2 because they're also found in the key of G. So D, G, A, and B minor. And B minor is typically the first really scary chord that anyone ever learns on guitar. At least it was for me. I remember when I tried to learn that chord, it was really discouraging because I tried to learn to play it like this. So B minor is typically played as a bar chord. And we're going to leave bar chords for another time, and I'm going to show you an easy way to play B minor that when you play it in the key of D, it works really, really well. I'll show you how to play B minor as a bar chord too if you want to go down that road, but I'm going to tell you if you're a beginner, it's a little more difficult. Okay, so let's just start. If you haven't joined us for the previous lessons, I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to put the chord diagram up and show you how to play D and G. So D looks like this. First finger on the G string, 2nd fret. 3rd finger on the B string, 3rd fret. And then 2nd finger on the high E string, 2nd fret. I almost said first, but it's 2nd fret. And then you mute the low E. Sometimes people tell you to mute the E and the A so that this D root note of the chord rings out first, but I like to play the A in my D chord, and it sounds like this. Then the G, I like to play, we learned 2 variations of G in the last lesson, and I like to play this 4-finger version of G. So simply it is 2nd finger, 3rd fret of the E string, 1st finger, 2nd fret of the A string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret of the B, and pinky, 4th finger, 3rd fret of the high E. Let your D and G string ring open. Okay, so those are the review chords that we've already learned. Let's learn the A major chord. And this one is 3 fingers all in a row on the same fret. So in our last lesson, I talked about E minor. When you have 2 fingers that you put on the same fret, sometimes you have to position one of your fingers a little bit further away from the fret than you would like. The same thing goes with this chord, and this is how you play it. Here's a close-up view. Your 2nd finger goes on the D string, 2nd fret. Your 1st finger goes on the G string, 2nd fret, and you notice I kind of placed that 1st finger behind the 2nd finger because I need to make room for my 3rd finger to go on the B string, also on the 2nd fret. And if you mute the low E string and you ring out, and it plays like this. The open A string is the root note of the chord. So you might notice that your fingers, they kind of make like a little triangle, if you will. You put them on like this. I like to play it this way because my 1st finger kind of sits in the middle of between the 2 frets, and then these 2 you slide your 1st finger as close as you can in between those 2 fingers. Some people like to just take 1 finger and press all these 3 strings down. That's a little harder to do if you're a beginner. This is like a mini bar is what this is. So it's easier when you first start out to play it this way. Some people do all three in a line like this. I don't like doing it that way either. I feel like this finger never gets close enough to the fret, and it always is playing it down here, and it doesn't ring out very well. So remember, when we put our fingers on the strings, you want them to be as close as they can be behind the fret without actually being on top of the fret. So that's the A major chord. Now here is the B minor chord. You put your, I'm going to give you a close-up, you put your first finger on the A string, 2nd fret, you put your second finger on the G string, 2nd fret, and you put your third finger, your ring finger, on the B string, 3rd fret. And then you mute the low E, and when you play it, it sounds like this. You let the D string ring open. The B right here, the A string 2nd fret, that is a B note. That is the root note of the chord. Okay? I said I would show you the bar chord version. I'm not going to go into how you play bar chords, but if you're a little familiar with guitar, you might notice how this works. You place your first finger across all the strings so that all of them ring out when you press it. Okay, you might have to squeeze it with your thumb, and then you put your fingers on like this. So 3rd finger goes on the 4th fret of the D string, 4th finger goes on the 4th fret of the G string, and 2nd finger goes on the 3rd fret of the B string. Okay, that is the B minor bar chord. Don't let that scare you. That's kind of difficult to do as a beginner, so I would recommend just play this thing right here. You'll find too, when you get to playing chords, when you get to playing switching chords, this is easier to switch to and from because D is here, A is here, B minor is here, you just move that finger up, and G is here. So this finger this finger only moves from here to here. Okay? And that's it. Chords in the key of D. How to play D major, A major, B minor, and G. I'm like, I'm fingering the chords up here as I tell them to you. After you play guitar long enough, you'll be able to do that. You just keep practicing and practicing. Eventually, you're in your sleep, just kind of, just playing chords. So. But that's a good point to practice, practice, practice. I said it in the last lesson and in the one before. You really want to memorize these chords. Work on placing your fingers because when you first start out, it's going to be really easy for you if you put your fingers on and they'll touch other strings, and not all your strings will ring out. So just keep working on that so that your fingers are placed only on the string that they're supposed to be on and not touching other strings. And then just memorize those chords. And it's a good exercise. Now that you know 5 or 6 chords by now, if you're following along. And it's a good exercise to me just to kind of think of a chord and play it. So D, A, G, E minor, B minor, and you can just kind of at random pop them into your head and then form the chord. And that will help you too start to learn how to switch between chords. That's kind of the next place that we're going to go after we learn chords. So now we've learned chords in the key of G, we've learned chords in the key of D. The next lesson we're going to continue to build our chord library, and we're going to learn chords in the key of C. So after you get all these down, check back for that next lesson, and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.